Wogan.
Hello, welcome to the first of our special 10th anniversary programs on 2. I'm in Cornwall. Delighted you can join me in Penzance to the first of our special 10th anniversary programs here on 2 on 1,500 meters in the long wave, stereo VHF. The time now, 5 minutes past 7, no matter what part of the country you're in. I'm watching a glorious dawn come up like thunder out of the Lizard Peninsula across the bay there. This is Mounts Bay in Penzance. Gorgeous morning. I shall get transported in a minute with the dawn reflecting on the still waters of the Newlyn harbour and the boats bobbing about on the gentle tide and the seagulls, who at the moment seem to be mute, but an absolutely gorgeous morning. They shall carry me away in a trance in a moment. I hope to talk to all sorts of people here in Cornwall, in Penzance to be more particular. We're in Newlyn at the moment. We'll move about the place, talk to various people, hope to catch a pasty in the baking, and a mackerel fisherman as he arrives in. And there, a seagull direct on cue. It's past 7, and welcome to the program coming this morning from Penzance. We're starting off in Newlyn Quay. If only this were television, you'd see a man before you ravished by the dawn. Beautiful dawn coming up over Mounts Bay. And surrounded by some people here. They get up very early in Penzance.
Yes, I certainly did.
You did?
Yes.
You don't care about the rest, do you?
No, I just care about you, that's all.
What's your name?
My name is Mrs. Lily Kiskey.
Well, do you live in Penzance?
I live in Newlyn, right on the top of the hill.
Oh, Mosul?
No, right on top of the hill, Newlyn.
Why do they call the place that is spelt Mousehole Mosul?
Well, the Mosul people will tell you that. I couldn't.
I see. That you're afraid
but
of
I live at Newlyn.
You don't want to infuriate the inhabitants
Not at all,
of Mosul?
no. I don't want to infuriate anyone. But I listen to your program every morning.
Yeah.
And I must say I really enjoy it.
Well, you must, because otherwise I'd hit you over the head with my microphone.
You would, of course, I'm sure you would.
What's your name?
Mrs. Lily Kiskey.
Hello, Lily.
Yes.
Is there anybody you want to say hello to this
Yes,
morning?
I'd like to say hello to all my family.
Yeah.
And give them all my good wishes. And I would like something played by the Beach Boys.
Well, you won't get it, Lily, because this is not a request program. You're not talking to Pete Murray here, you know.
I know.
I'm sorry to be boring you about the dawn, but it's one of the best I've ever seen. It's turned orange now from pink. And the time on Radio 2 is 13 minutes past 7. I'm amazed that so many people are about this hour of the morning. Apart from the seagulls and the fisher folk, we've got some lovely young girls here joined us. Regular listeners to Radio 2,
Hello.
every one of them. What's your name?
Sue Lewis.
Do you want to say hello to anybody?
Yes, please. I'd like to say hello to my mum,
Yeah.
who's listening. She's a big fan of yours.
Well, I need all of them.
And my dad, who's listening as well, but I don't think he's
He
a big
doesn't
fan.
like it. No. Right, don't give me the address.
Can I give just 2 mentions for my colleagues at work, Miss Randall and Mrs. Gordon?
Yes, they must be senior to you.
Yes.
Yes, I thought they were. Otherwise, you call them other Christian names, wouldn't
Yes, well.
you? What do you do?
I'm matron in a boarding school.
Oh, I
These
see.
are some of my girls.
Oh, good. Well, let's meet
Yeah.
some of the girls. What's your name?
Tamsin Hardman.
Hello, Tamsin. Where are you from?
Norway.
Norway?
Yes.
It's a long way to come to school. Do you come here every morning from Norway?
No, every term.
Yeah. Well, why come to school in Penzance from Norway? Are your parents English?
Yes, well, I'm Cornish myself, and I've got lots of relations
Sorry,
here.
I said English instead of Cornish. That was a crucial error. I probably won't get out of the place alive. Thank you, Tamsin. Who's this?
Alison Clark.
Where are you from?
Well, my parents are out in India.
Gosh. Do you ever get... How often do you get to see them?
3 times a year.
Oh, gosh. You miss them?
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah, you've got your pals here in school.
Yeah.
You like the school, do you?
It's okay, yeah.
Yeah, oh, okay, that's right. Well, don't be too enthusiastic. Who's this?
Julie Chiddock.
What's the name of the school, incidentally,
St.
Julie?
Clair's.
Yeah, good place, is it?
Oh, I suppose so.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. They'll all be glad to see you when you go back to school this morning, yeah. What stage are you at in schooling? You doing any O-levels or
O-levels
anything?
this year.
Well, good luck to all of you. Anybody you want to say hello
I'd
to?
like to say hello to my dad, who's on top of the hill and probably asleep.
Mhm.
And I'd like to say hello to most of the girls at school.
Good. Okay, we've covered them all. It's 7:15.
There, Terry.
Yes, thank you, Colin. Sort of a hiccup there. I think it was caused by a cormorant crossing our bows. Those winds, incidentally, are affecting the fishing here in Penzance and in Cornwall, and no better man to talk to us about that. Incidentally, 18 minutes past 7 now on Radio 2. Tom Waters, who's a fish auctioneer. It hasn't been a good season then for fishing, Tom? Or...
Well, not this past week, Terry. It's been pretty wild out, you know, and although it's pretty fine in here, as you can see, it's been pretty wild out where the boats are fishing at the present moment.
Well, there's not many of them out. I can see that most of the fisher boats are here, although the water appears to be tremendously still. It's like a mill pond, but that's inside the harbour, of course.
Oh,
it's rougher
yes,
out.
yeah, it's always rougher out. Yeah.
Yeah. What do fish auctioneers do? Well, I mean, apart from auctioning fish, of course, is there a special technique to it?
Well, it's a case of learning the trade by confidence and getting to know the buyers and being able to rattle off the figures and hoping to persuade and try to get the auction going and getting the buyers to bid at a pretty fast rate.
Do the buyers come in from all parts of Britain, or just down this
Well,
Cornish?
they come in for a pretty wide area. Most of the fish down here is exported, but quite a lot for the home market.
Well, apart from the usual mackerel, perhaps bass, well, anything
every-
esoteric caught here in
Oh,
Cornwall?
every type of fish you can think about. Even sturgeon at times. And we get quite a lot of variety of fish here.
You've been known to have caviar for breakfast.
Oh,
haven't
yes.
you? And you're a singer as well?
Well, we do a bit of singing, yes. I sing with the Mousel Male Voice Choir.
That's Mousel again, you
Yes,
see.
Mousel again.
Well, now, Cornwall, of course, has a lot of connections with Brittany and with Wales. It's a Celtic duchy down
That's
here.
right, yes.
And therefore interested in the same things as the Welsh, really. I mean, is musical people, the Cornish?
Well, I think, the arts in the Celtic countries are more or less performed more than anywhere else, and we take a great pride in our singing. And there's quite a lot of male voice choirs here in Cornwall.
What sort of a start do you make in the morning, Tom?
Well, I get at Newlyn about 7:30, and we start the auction at 8:30.
Yeah. Billingsgate, being a fish market in London, was very famous for nasty language. Is Cornish fisher folk language delicate and
well,
refined?
no, a little bit raw at times, but on the whole, I think we behave ourselves pretty
Okay,
good.
well, for the fairy fisher folk of Newlyn, and particularly for you, Tom Waters, thank you for talking to us. Getting brighter here in Newlyn. This is not Penzance, is it? What is it? Newlyn! Yes, thanks very much. A glad anniversary on Radio 2, and a little early, you might think, to be celebrating everything. It's 28 minutes past 7 now on this Friday, the last morning in September, the 30th morning. And we're going to have the news very shortly, but some more nice people to talk to here in Newlyn before we move out and about in Penzance. And this young lady, what's your name?
I'm Judy Knowles
Yeah, and you're from Newlyn?
from Newlyn, yes.
You got a family?
I've got one little girl, and she's at home with my husband listening.
Well, good. Let's send greetings to them then.
Thank you very
What's
much.
their names?
Harry and Kim.
Good for them. Thank you for joining us
Thank you, Terry.
here on the
And
quayside.
welcome to Newlyn.
Thank you. I'm delighted to be here. Some nice people to talk to. What's your name?
Margaret Little.
Hi, Margaret. What do you do?
Work at Tomlin's.
Well, that's a good plug there, isn't it? Good old Tomlins. That's nice. I hope what do they do?
Well, flowers mainly.
Yeah,
Picking flowers.
picking flowers.
Yes.
A flower girl from old Cornwall. You're not into the Piskies, are you?
No.
Who's this? We've got a lady here, I understand, is a fisher person.
Yes.
A part-time fisher person.
Yes, when I've got the time.
What do you do then?
We just go out in the boat and pick up some mackerel.
And do the fellas treat you like a commoner garden fisherman?
Yes.
Do they?
Yeah.
You've got to get into the oilskins and hoil up the mizzen and splice the
Yes.
main brace and other sailory talk.
Yeah.
Good. It hasn't been all that good, has it, fishing here for the past week or so?
No, the weather hasn't been too good for fishing.
Well, I think that's the fisherman's excuse, actually,
Yes.
because we're up at 29 minutes past 7, but nobody else is here, apart from a few women. I haven't seen any fishermen at all. I'm beginning to think that they've caught the English disease down here in Cornwall. What's your name, a very young lady?
Julia Carl.
Hi, Julia. You from around here?
Yes, from the mission.
The mission?
Yes, just over there.
Oh, I see. Good, right. What, is that at the mission to sailors or something?
Yes, to deep sea fishermen.
Yeah. Do you get many deep-sea fishermen in here? Fairly shallow, the waters around Cornwall, I should have thought. Good for you. Okay. Anybody want to say hello to?
Just the family.
Good. Well, delighted to say hello to them. I thought it was Penzance, but it's Newlyn. And if I say Penzance once more, they'll hit me over the head here with an extremely hard-baked Cornish pasty. Lovely morning. Mild, mellow September morning. I hope I find you well wherever you're listening in. And I hope you'll join us on Radio 2 for all our 10th anniversary special programs. It's 7:37 now. And we'll try and work out what that means. I'll welcome listeners to Morning Southwest who join us. Presented by Frank Wintle in Plymouth. And we're also delighted to be joined by the television cameras of BBC Westwood. And welcome, gentlemen, or BBC Southwest, they call themselves. I didn't give them the full title, for goodness sake. Otherwise, they'll black us. Now, I've got here, speaking of Cornish pasties, a gentleman all togged out in white. I'm sure you're not normally that clean, are you?
Not normally, but on a special occasion, we make an effort.
Dressed up, got the overall washed.
After the end of the day in front of the oven, you get a little bit more soil.
And the oven, in fact, makes the famous Cornish pasties. Well, now, I've
does.
had some fairly ferocious Cornish pasties in my time. First of all, we'll find out what your name is.
My name is Frank Eddy.
Hello, Frank. Welcome to the show. I'm sure
Thanks very
people
much.
who are, even as we speak, diving into the wheaty bangs, will be interested in what you're putting into your Cornish pasties these days.
Well, it's mainly the pastry casing, filled with potato, onion, turnip, and, of course, meat.
Yeah, I find that a lot of Cornish pasties these days are mostly potato and turnip and not all that much meat.
Well, probably through economy.
Yeah, but they're not the kind you make, of course.
Not the kind we make, no.
Well, what about things like, I heard one called Thunder and Lightning.
Thunder and lightning, I don't think I've heard of that
Haven't
one.
you?
No.
That's supposed to be treacle and cream.
Treacle and cream, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, of course, yes.
I'm teaching this man his own
I
job
thought you,
here.
I thought you were still on pasties.
Is that not a pasty?
What, treacle and cream pasty? No, I never heard of treacle
Why
and
don't
cream.
you-
I've heard of jam pasties, apple pasties, and fruit pasties, and all the rest. But I've never heard of treacle and cream pasty.
What's your speciality then?
What, here?
Yeah, just your good old meat and potato pasty.
And turnip and onion, of course.
What sort of meat do you put in?
Well, it's usually rump steak.
Yeah, rump
Yeah.
Is it really? It has to be rump steak to be a proper pasty.
Sorry, no, chuck steak.
Yeah. How much does that cost? How much does your average pasty cost?
For selling to the public?
Yeah.
Well, we sell them to the public. Our small ones, our little snack-sized ones, are 14 pence, which is pretty reasonable, I think.
Pasties apparently started in Cornwall because the miners had to have something handy to
Very
take down
true,
the
yeah.
mines. isn't that
Miners,
right?
farmers, fishermen. They all, I think it originated because somebody thought it was a brilliant idea they could take something to work and have it safe when they got there, and it's surprising how long a pasty will keep warm if it's wrapped straight from the oven.
Good for you. Well, it's been a pleasure to talk to you. And what time do you get up in the morning? I know bakers are early risers.
Oh, we're usually going about 4:30 here in the mornings. We have to get things ready by 9 o'clock. There's a bit of abuse from the bakehouse.
Yes, they all sound a bit
I've got a
disgruntled in there.
pasty
Get
here.
back to work.
I got a pasty here for you, Miss Mary.
Oh, have you? It's
Yeah.
20 minutes to 8, and the first pasty of the day.
Yes.
Okay, hit me with the pasty
I'm
then.
afraid it's only a small one.
Oh, is it? Right, okay. Well, I'll have a look at it. Oh, good. I'm glad this is not television. Well, it is, actually. As I said, we're followed around by BBC television
are.
Southwest.
If that doesn't
the
put a bit of-
10-mile-high pasty.
If that doesn't put a bit of flab on you by the end of the day...
It's a ginormous piece of pastry full of all sorts of things with TW, very delicately carved in pastry.
No, that TW, that's traditional as well.
Is it?
Everybody's pasty in older days, was made for the consumer, for the individual. Perhaps joiced in like onion, and they would put a J on the top, or perhaps Beryl was a bit hot stuff, and so they put B on the top and plenty of pepper, you see. And
So what have you got in this?
well, that's a bit of everything.
Thanks very much.
If your friend, won't be married and had one, of course we'd leave the meat out.
Yes, of
But
course. He wouldn't pay for it anyway,
As
if I
it's you,
know
we
him.
know you like plenty of everything, so we brought the pasty.
Yes. Well, we're not doing Hello Chunky this morning because I really feel we wouldn't be justified in doing it with this huge, deliciously smelling
I've
pasty.
also got some saffron cake here,
Have you?
and I've got some heavy cake here, which are true Cornish fare.
Delicacies.
Yes. I'd like
Why-
to sample a little bit of each.
I will in a moment. Hold on to that, and we'll carry the pasty and eat it as we go this morning. It'll be the most nutritious breakfast I've had in years. Thank you very much, Frank Eddy. It's 19 minutes to 8 o'clock now, and the Pipers spoke with St. Stidion's band. Very suitable. Some real Cornish music here from their LP Pasties and Cream. It's a song written, I think, by Barbara Wootton, who's a bard, a local bard here in Newlyn and Penzance. We'll be talking to her later on in the course of the program. And this one, suitably enough, is called There's Something About a Pasty.
Oh, there's something about a pasty. There's something about a pasty. There's something about a pasty that is fine, fine, fine. It may be the way you make it. It may be the way you bake it. It may be the way you bake it on the line, line, line. Complete your fancy dishes. My one and only wish is to see their pasties marching out in line, line, line. When you taste it and surprise, you could eat until you bust. There's something about a pasty that is fine, fine, fine.
There's Something About a Pasty, written by Brenda Wootton, not Barbara Wootton. But I'm a bit transfixed here anyway on this lovely morning, this end of September morning on our special outside broadcast. Early in the day for an outside broadcast, but with the streets hardly aired, but still surrounded by some lovely people here in Newlyn before we move on to the environs of Penzance. Mouth is full when I'm broadcasting. You're absolutely right. Stuffed here with saffron cakes. The first time I've had cake for breakfast, I think, ever. Some of us are eating the heavy cake. I'm eating the saffron, specially baked by Eliza Eddy, who's the mother of Frank Eddy, whom we just talked to. Delicious smells. What a smashing place this is. Palm trees, of course, because Cornwall washed by the Gulf Stream. And the great unwashed in front of me here. Oh, hello, they took exception to that, didn't they? Yeah, they can turn very nasty here. Yeah. It's now 14 minutes to 8 o'clock. You tuned to Radio 2. We got any more people? There's a young lady here who said, stand still, she said, while I take a photograph. What's your name?
Becky.
Becky what?
Jolly.
Have to eke every word out of you, don't we? Becky Jolly. Give us a laugh, then. Go on. Anybody want to say hello to this morning, Becky?
Nana, Mum, Dad,
Good.
and my pony.
And your pony? Think he'd be listening? Does he listen to this program? Puts him off to sleep. Who's that prompting you? What's your name?
Auntie Julie.
You're Auntie Julie, are
Yeah.
you? Even to your friends, Auntie Julie?
No.
Nice to see you. Who have you got at home that might be listening, do you think?
Me mum.
Yeah.
My dad's still in bed, I expect.
Yes, they're all the same.
Yeah, I know.
Dads. I'm the only dad in the country that gets up before the rest of the family. What about you, my lady? You've been here. In fact, you were the first person there this morning when I arrived on the quay in the dock and fell into the harbour. What's your name?
My name is Emily Simmons.
Emily, it's delightful to see you. Thank you for joining us
This
so
is my
early.
second anniversary in Newlyn. I
You like-
moved down here 2 years ago today.
Did you?
Yes.
Well, it's our anniversary and yours.
Yes.
Have a piece of saffron cake.
I prefer heavy cake.
Oh, do you?
I love heavy
You're
cake.
oh, yes. Oh, lovely mouthful of executive producer Derek Mills' heavy cake stuffed into the lady's mouth there, right on cue. Anyway, it's 12 minutes to 8 o'clock, and I suppose those of you that have to do an honest day's work are more interested in the time, really, than what we're eating for breakfast here. And I hope your breakfast is trickling down a treat, the lightly boiled egg and all the rest of it. I really like you to think that I was spending all my time here in Penzance, Newlyn, just eating. The fact is, we're sitting now in our outside broadcast van as we drive around the narrow streets of Penzance and Newlyn, various signposts for places like St. Just and Mosul, which I called Mousehole before I came here, and Land's End, which I hope to see for the first time. A little river here. This wouldn't be the Tamar that's going by here. No, it wouldn't be the Tamar. It's 9 minutes to 8 o'clock. A terrible disaster has happened. We had this huge Cornish pasty from Mr. Reddy, the baker. And as we drove off, put it carefully to the side, it has now collapsed and spread a mile wide all over the equipment here in our very carefully kept BBC van. And there's a smell of onions and turnips and potatoes and meat, chuck steak best. And the TW is shattered into a million pieces. The Cornish pasty is destroyed. Still trying to clear up the last of that huge Cornish pasty. I never thought I'd have a Cornish pasty for breakfast, but there you are. It's 5 minutes to 8 o'clock. You tuned to Radio 2. It's the first of our 10th anniversary program. Special program throughout the day here on Radio 2. I'm in Penzance, in Cornwall. And, of course, the emphasis here is on fish, apart from pasties. And some ladies who get up very early in the morning, and they beat shellfish into insensibility. I think that's what they do. The shellfish haven't arrived yet, although, look at that, all along the sides. Shellfish have arrived, they just haven't started working. There's a million crabs here, and I happen to love crabs. And they're going to get the liver and lights knocked out of them by the ladies very shortly. They're awfully quiet, aren't they, for fisher ladies? Excuse me, this pasty is repeating on me. Good morning, girls. Morning. Oh, thank heaven. You speak. What's your name?
Kim.
Are you from, Kim? Around here?
Newlyn, yeah.
Yeah. Anybody at home that might be listening in?
Yeah, my dad and my mum.
Good for them. Have you worked in this factory for very long?
For just over a year.
And what do you do?
Pick the crabs.
What do you mean pick the crabs?
Well, pick all the meat out of them.
That's difficult, I know, if you've ever tried to pick a crab. It's a difficult old job. But how do you go about dissecting a crab, then? What do you do first?
Well, you take all the legs off it, and then the claws, and then you prise the body out, and you take all the meat out of that.
Gosh, there's a lot of people listening all over the country now. We're very sorry to hear you say that, because they've just brought back their breakfasts. How do you know a good crab from a bad one? Do you know? What's your name?
Well, the good one's very heavy, and the light one's light. The bad one's light.
Are they?
Yeah, they're very light.
Well, what's your name?
Janet.
Hello, Janet. Thank you
Hello.
for talking to us. What about this good lady?
Yeah.
What's your name?
Joanne.
Hi, Joanne. Well, are you a veteran crab picker?
Yes, and I also do scallops.
Ah, you do the scallops, do you?
Yes.
Is that difficult? Do you have to use a knife for that?
Yes, you have to part them first, take off the flat shell first, and then scoop them out.
Yes.
And then put them all in clean water.
It's all very delicate
Take
stuff for
them
this
out.
hour of the
Yeah.
morning, isn't it? Which turns out to be 3 minutes to 8 o'clock. Tell me, anybody at home you think might be listening in?
Oh, well, my nephew.
Good. What's his
So,
name?
I'm a widow. Eugene.
Eugene. Well,
Yeah.
we hope he is listening.
Yeah,
If you're
well.
joining us for the first time, wondering where the strange sounds are coming from, I'm in Newlyn and Penzance in the heart of Cornwall, down the very toe of Britain, looking out on Mounts Bay and Mount St. Michael. A lovely view it is. I can't see much of it at the moment because I'm in the middle of a fish factory. And as you can imagine, very noisy as the crabs get bashed to smithereens by these ladies who are fast-fingered ladies. There's Joanne, who's taken the meat out. I'm having a piece of crab. I've already had a piece of saffron cake, heavy cake. I've dived into a pasty. I'm eating a barbecued crab claw at the moment. This is Paul Harvey. It's the Harvey family who run this factory, isn't it, Paul?
Yes.
How long have you been here?
Well, the firm itself, we've been around 25 years in this building here.
Where did the crabs come from?
Well, all over the Cornish coast. We buy most of the shellfish from the Cornish coast, crabs, lobsters and crayfish.
I don't see many lobsters in evidence. They've probably all gone
No.
to France.
Well, no, we send most of our lobsters live to London, Billingsgate Market.
So when I eat a lobster here in Cornwall, it's been to Billingsgate and it's come back again, has
Oh,
it?
no. That's only... It's been sent from us to London and distributed around that area. But
Why?
if you bought one here, you buy it fresh, straight away from us, from the sea.
What time do the girls start here?
Oh, 8 o'clock.
And they dive straight into mountains of crabs. It's a very, very difficult... I imagine that it'd be easy to cut fingers, so I noticed they're all wearing overalls and gloves and everything to protect the fingers.
Yeah, well, it's quite messy, and the shell's very sharp, so you've got to be very careful with their fingers.
Well, as I took into me crab claw, and Peter, my engineer, Peter the eater, he's having one as well, because he's never been known to pass up any kind of material that you can get inside your mouth. It's 7 minutes past 8. Why is it so difficult to get crab in London, for instance? So, you know, I find it's quite a delicacy. But there's millions of them here. Shouldn't there be more of them on the dining tables of Britain?
Well, we send a lot to Sweden, a lot of our crabs to Sweden, and we send quite a lot to London, but they're mainly sold locally, our crabs here.
Fine, meaty ones, aren't they? Yeah. What's the biggest demand? Lobster, you'd say, would you?
Well, no, I should say crabs are more or less more demand than lobsters.
Well, now, for instance, the tourist season is finished down here. By the way, 7 minutes past 8, 8 minutes past 8 now, tuned to Radio 2. Terry Wogan here in Newlyn. We haven't actually got to Penzance yet. The program's supposed to be coming from there. Talking to Paul Harvey in his fish factory, and you're listening in the background to the sounds of crabs being bashed. Well, I've forgotten what I was going to ask you now, Paul. But these crabs are absolutely delicious. Do you cook them first before you take them apart?
Oh, yes, we cook all our crabs ourselves. They're all cooked downstairs.
Yeah. Aren't there bits of crab that we're not allowed to eat?
Well, not really, no.
That's
you
a bit
could
of
eat
a
more or less
fallacy.
all of it, except for the shell. There are some little, I think it's their breathing parts inside the body which you aren't allowed to eat.
Oh,
They're
yeah,
like
the
fingers
lungs.
from the sides, one of the sides of the shell.
Yes, okay. Well, I was going to ask you something of mammoth importance, which once again has slipped me memory, but then it's very hard to concentrate here when you're surrounded by all this shellfish, which I happen to delight in. Thank you, Paul, for talking to us. Yes, I wanted to ask you, that when the tourist season finishes here,
Yeah.
do you find the demand for crab drops off, or do you just export more?
Well, it does a little bit. We don't sell so much in the shop, but we still supply the local hotels, so... But it does drop when the tourists go away, yeah.
Okay, thank you for talking to us.
Okay.
Nice to meet
Goodbye.
all you ladies. It's 12 minutes past 8, 1,500 metres in the long wave, stereo VHFs. Fella trying to thumb a lift there. Cheek. We've been followed around by television cameras of BBC Television Southwest. It's amazing to see them. I mustn't sound so astonished. I've seen a palm tree before. Why am I being so foolish? And a lovely morning it is, too, seeing that we're at the end of September, our anniversary day. Just caught a glimpse there of Mount St. Michael, which dominates this Mounts Bay, and which is a virtual replica of Mont Saint-Michel in Brittany. And the St. Auburn family live on this Mount St. Michael. And those of you who know this bay will know that when the tide goes out, you can actually get across to it. Very spectacular sight, dominating the bay. beautifully quiet, calm day. Not many people about, but still. We're moving into Penzance now and hope to talk to some more people. Signs for Land's End. Too busy. Penzance. I can see that takes the merry holiday makers now, even at the end of the season, across to the Isles of Scilly, about 25, 28 miles across the sea here. Later on again, Jimmy Young is going to be out in the sea on an oil rig. I'm about to say it serves him right. Gosh, I wish I was him, instead of being here in beautiful Penzance on a lovely, mild September morning, talking to Brenda Wootton. Hello, Brenda.
Hello.
I understand you had just made an elf or a piskie.
No, a bard. A bard of the Cornish Corset, yes.
Now, what does that mean?
It's, you've been honoured for, I suppose, work that you've done for your country, for Cornwall.
Well, would I be perhaps excessively fulsome if I said that you were virtually single-handed in keeping alive the tradition of Cornish music?
At the moment, I suppose it is considered, in the folk scene, certainly, but there are other Cornish people who make music, you know. We've got Benjamin Luxon, our opera singer, and I know there's some very good pop groups down here as well. Small ones, perhaps, but who knows?
It's probably true, Brenda, that you, as now a bard, you've been popular all over what I would call the Celtic areas. I mean, you're as well known in Brittany as you are here.
Oh, yes, yes. I've got a Breton friend here staying at the moment.
Yeah.
I think it's because we have a great deal in common. Same in Ireland, too.
Yes, of course. Well, we're all Celts together.
That's right.
But do you think Cornish people are a little bit sensitive about being called English?
Very much so. We're not English. We're Cornish. You know, we're just not English. We're British.
Oh, well, frankly, when I came across the border into Cornwall, I didn't notice any difference. I thought, well, the same bit of land, and nobody looks all that different.
Well, it's the same if you cross the borders between, France and Germany. It's the same bit of land, but it's two different countries, right?
Well, but obviously a country is marked by its culture. Does Cornwall have its own culture?
It's not quite so noticeable, perhaps, today, but we're all, I think, searching for what we used to have and trying to recreate it for today.
Are there any Cornish native speakers?
Not really, no. It died 200 years ago, but there are a great number of people who are now speaking the language again. I'm sorry to say I can't speak it fluently, but there are many, many young people who can now, thank goodness.
Yeah, well, Cornwall, of course, is mainly known as a tourist area. I was saying that I've already had a crab's claw, a Cornish pasty, a heavy cake, and a saffron cake.
And you haven't had a bit of oggy diddle yet?
What's an oggy diddle?
Hog's pudding, and some stuff. You can eat it fresh, you know. It's a sort of boiled, enormous sausage. It's a bit obscene to look at, but it tastes rich.
Sounds revolting, if you don't mind me saying so. It's 24 minutes past 8 now, Brenda. It's a bit early for you, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I must say it's a bit jarring first thing in the morning down here on the quay.
Yes, we nearly got knocked down by a shrimp boat a moment or two ago. You understand you're just about to become a granny?
Well, it should have been today, but I haven't heard anything this morning, yes. So if so, there's going to be a high time in the old town tonight.
Right, I'm glad we got you in a sober moment. Well, would you like to say anything? Is it a daughter-in-law or a daughter?
It's my daughter, Susan, yes.
Where's she now?
Well, she's at home listening, I hope. So hurry up, maid.
That's on behalf of all the family. Right, it's 24 minutes past 8. We've got to go and have the racing information very shortly. Wogan's winner didn't win yesterday. Isn't that amazing? Oh, yeah. The fisher folk are turning ugly. Okay, Brenda, it's been a pleasure talking to you. I hope you'll continue to push forward the frontiers of Cornish music.
Thank you very much, Terry.
Would you like to say farewell in a Cornish word?
I say, Dir Sonor Di Wi, which means God bless you.
Well, that's a smashing greeting of a morning to everybody who's listening all over the rest of the country, 25 minutes past 8. We thought we'd play a track from your LP, No Song to Sing, a traditional Cornish song. Brenda Wootton, Robert Bartlett, and Alex Attison. This is called what?
Jan Nucky, all about a Cornish miner who goes a-courting and meets up with a large lady who thumps him right in the eye because he's after her money. It's a sort of women's lib song, I think, you know.
Johnny, will you wait for a while? John Nucky was a miner bold as ever went to bow, and cruel good could wrestle to throw a tidy fall. Johnny, will you come along now? Or Johnny, will you wait for a while? Oh, come along, John, with your big boot song. Johnny, will you wait for a while? Now up along to Churchtown lived a fine and spanking dame. She was pure stout, so was her purse.
the face. Johnny, will you come along now? Or Johnny, will you wait for a while? Oh, come along, John, with your big boots on. Johnny, will you wait for a while? Then said he, "Hello, my love, when shall us be asked out? Leave you and me keep company." The answer was a clout. Johnny, will you come along now? Or Johnny, will you wait for a while? Oh, come along, John, with your big boots on. Johnny, will you wait for a while? Oh, leave us have no fuss, says John. Pray don't you take amiss. Dear Grace, I ask before I go, you leave me have a kiss. Johnny, will you come along now? Or Johnny, will you wait for a while? Oh, come along, John, with your big boots on. Johnny, will you wait for a while? But Grace's dander now was up. She scritched and all by turns. She picked poor Jan up by the scruff and trodden through the derns. Johnny, will you come along now? Or Johnny, will you wait?
Brenda Wooten. We hope to see her later on, actually, at Radio 2 Ballroom, doing a special program down here this evening, a sort of a barn dance, and I'll be appearing there later on this evening, and it'll be specially recorded for Radio 2, and I've seen Brenda again. The smell of freighters and here on the quayside, the big Solonian ship that takes all the tourists across to the Scilly Isles is now loading up with provender for the islanders. And a lovely, calm and beautiful morning in Penzance. As I say, part of the special 10th anniversary celebrations here on Radio 2. Pete Murray, after the 9 o'clock news, will be at the Alhambra in Bradford, talking to the people there. And his guests are going to be the Spinners and Les Dawson, Norman Collier, Selena Jones and Slim Whitman. And Jimmy Young is going to be talking to people on the oil rigs. And, of course, John Dunn. He's going to be in Wales in the middle of the shopping precinct in Cardiff. Looking forward to meeting the good people of Wales down there. I'm among some other Celts, of course, on the end of the pier at Penzance. I feel like the Pied Piper of Hamelin. Everywhere I walk with my microphone, people follow. Let's meet somebody here. What's your name?
Eileen Coleman.
Eileen, are you a native, are you?
No. I come from Sussex.
Yeah. Long way to come just for the programme, wasn't it?
It was rather. 12:30 this morning we left.
Yeah.
Got here half an hour ago.
Did you?
Yes.
Just, you didn't... no, come on. You didn't come here just for this. You've got to go for a holiday as well,
No,
right?
I've been to see my mother.
Yeah.
Popped in and said, hi, see you in a minute, and off we came again to see you.
Send greetings to her then. Where does she live?
Oh, just up the road here. Triassa Road, number 30.
Good. You come down here for your holidays every year?
Yes, every year. Well, this isn't a holiday now. This is just a quick weekend.
Yes, of course. But it doesn't become fairly crowded here in holiday time?
Horrible.
Yeah. That's what the local people say, that they really look forward to from now until June, when all the tourism starts
nice
again.
And peace and
It's nice to talk to you, Irene. We've got another lady here. What's your name?
Maureen Meekins.
Do you come from around here? You
Well,
born
I
here?
wasn't born here. No, I come from Suffolk, and I'd like to say hello to my mum and dad in Colchester in Essex. I've been living down here about a year now.
Yeah.
And love
Why
it
did you come down here?
I liked it so much. Came down here for a holiday and then came down to stay.
You decided not to move?
No.
As good a reason as any. Here's a lady with an Alsatian dog. What's your name?
It's a Labrador.
It just shows how good I am on dogs, doesn't it? I'm equally good on shellfish. A Labrador. What's your name?
Hilda Oldham.
You from here?
No, Manchester.
Is there anybody here from Cornwall? Yeah. Do you want to say to anybody in
Mum's
Manchester?
back in the caravan and it's a birthday. Happy birthday, Mum.
Well, I hope she's listening. Who's from Cornwall there? Yes, good man, sir. What's your name?
My name's Eric Barnes.
Yeah, we were talking to Brenda Wooten about how you don't feel that you're English, you feel that you're Cornish.
I'm a true Cornishman born at Bude. How's that?
Well, nobody's perfect.
And I'm a man from the Prue. Ever heard of him?
Never heard of it. There's
Never heard of
another
a man from the Prue.
That'll be
Well,
worth a
darn.
few quid
I know
anyway.
it will.
We get
The company
ourselves
will see to
insured
that.
for nothing now in the
I know you
BBC. Golden Hits. I'm on the end of the pier, actually, in Penzance, looking at the lighthouse. Behind me, the Solonian boat. I'll be going aboard very shortly. I'm on the boarding ramp at the moment. All sorts of sounds of loading of ships going on. And the good people of Penzance have turned out in great numbers, I'm delighted to say, even at this hour of the morning, 20 to 9, to talk to me. So we better send greetings to the people who perhaps might have come along to greet me, but can't do. For instance, there's those in the Bolitho maternity home. Greetings to all of you from the midwife, Mrs. Barnes, who was with me here at the end of the pier, and to the ladies of Poltaire Hospital. That's the geriatric hospital here, and I'm glad to send them greetings. There's a harvest home this evening in the King's Arms at Paul, to which I was invited, which unfortunately I won't be able to attend. And to all the good people of Cornwall who've turned out, I'm delighted to see you. And we'll chat a bit more, of course. We're rapidly running out of time. We're going to pause for thought very shortly. And I'm going to board a boat. With any luck, it won't take off with me on it. Still, you never know your luck. Just certainly not what you're getting, if you can hear what I can hear in the background, which is the noisy sound of the Solonian being loaded. We all took a quick tilt to port that time. I thought perhaps the Cornish pasty had gone to my head, but it was only there was a ginormous piece of equipment being loaded here on the Solonian. I'm way up on the prow of the ship.
The bridge.
The bridge, says the captain very quickly. So not much good at that either. And looking across at St. Michael's Mount, there it is. Cut off, of course, by the tide at the moment. Very calm sea. Now, let's talk to the captain. What's your name, sir?
John Ashford.
John, thank you for having us aboard.
You're welcome.
I can't say that it's particularly clement because there's a bit of a breeze. I understand there's been some gales. Have there been rough passages to the Scillies lately?
Not rougher than normal. We had a bit of a gale last Friday night, when the seas were coming over the pier here, rather wet on the ship, but not what we would call bad.
Do you never get fed up sailing the same stretch of sea between Penzance and the Scillies?
Yes, one would. I'm not the regular captain. I normally work ashore in Scilly. The regular captain is indisposed at the moment, and I'm here doing his relief.
Yeah.
But it could get quite boring.
Can it get to be a very rough passage for the people who... How long is it? 28 miles or something?
About 28 miles, and with this ship, this one has only been in service since the end of May. 3 hours would be the normal sort of trip. Yes, it can get very rough.
Right, well, don't cast off anchor while we're here, will you?
Yeah, we'll stay for a few minutes yet.
Good man, thank you for talking to us, Johnny. What's your name, dear?
Lucy Anderson.
Lucy, you've followed us faithfully throughout Newlyn and Penzance this morning. Anybody want to say hello to?
To the patients and staff of West Cornwall Hospital, where I work, please.
Good. Well, it's very nice to meet you, Lucy, and I hope they're listening in. We're going to try and include as many, perhaps locals and tourists as we can. This is a tourist.
Yes, Kathy Gibbons from Bristol.
Hello, Kathy.
Hello.
Anybody want to greet this morning?
Yes, I'd like to say hello to my husband, Dick, who's looking after the children, Siobhan and Colleen, and our landlady, Pearl.
Is he on holiday as well? You're all
Yes,
on holiday down here.
yes.
It's a bit late in the year for a holiday, isn't it?
Yes, so we've been very lucky with the weather. It's very nice.
Smashing. Well, I hope it goes well for you. How much longer have you got?
Just till tomorrow.
Good. Well, hope it's a good day for you today, and you go back to Bristol refreshed. Who's this?
Hello, my name's Stephanie Hooper, and I'd like to wish everybody who's taking part in the Round Britain Cycle Rally for the Rotaract Club luck today. The Penzance Club is still going, and I've just come back from cycling part of the way to St. Austell. They're all raising money for charity to be spent locally, and I'd like to give a special message of good luck to all those taking part. It's Chris, Joyce, Kathy, Mervyn, and Lance. They're still going.
Pleasure to talk to you now.
Thank you.
Here's a local artist. His name is Charles Breaker. Hello, Charles.
Hello.
Thank you for coming down to join us on the end of the quay here. It's 7 minutes to 9 now, by the way. You're tuned to Radio 2. Charles, do you paint the local scene, or do you try to encourage local art? What do you do?
No, I paint harbour scenes and boats mostly, and everybody expects me to paint boats. I live right on the harbour, so I'm always on the job.
Are there any, apart from the painting, are there any local arts that are particularly indigenous to Cornwall?
Oh yes, lots of pottery, very good pottery too in this area. Lots of small studios that do very individual stuff, and of course lots of painters.
Do you have an exhibition anywhere apart from here?
Yes, I'm having an exhibition in London in a fortnight's time.
Oh, we'll wish you well with that. Just sea scenes, is it mainly, or do you have any of the salty characters of Penzance, Newlyn, or surrounding areas?
Yes, they're included on the harbour scenes, but I don't do portraits, especially.
Yes, well, I wish you every success with your exhibition in London, Charles, and I'm sure all your friends do as well.
Thank you very much.
Sell a lot of paintings.
It's lovely. Thank you.
Good man, thank you.
Thank you.
All the good people. I don't know whether that was an implied criticism of the program or not, but that was the Solonian sounding off before heading off across the 28 miles of sea from here in Penzance to the Scilly Isles. It's 1 minute to 9 o'clock. I guess I'll have to go and lie down after that. Fanny Kaiser's Wogan's winner at the 2:15 at Haydock Park. My thanks, as I said, to the good people we've met here, for the kind of help we've had from Brian Gooding and Moira Fitz, to our engineers, Dick and Graham, Keith and Peter the Eater. And we've had plenty of that. It's the good old crab and the pasties and the heavy cake and the saffron cake. It's been a marvelous. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. Stay with us for Pete Murray, who's going to be at the Alhambra in Bradford. It's been a great day, and I'll see you Monday between 7 and 9 on Radio 2. Have a good weekend.
This is my town, where chapel-top streets of tilting houses tumble downhill to the arms of its mother and child harbours. This is my town of vanishing cobbles, of iron scars left by railings that went to war, where a granite pillar in a November garden grows weary with its weight of names of the men who went. The good as gold wouldn't be told, boys. My town, of one river and 5 bridges, of 5 pubs and 1 church, of uplong and downlong, of carnivals and kids, refugees, evacuees, of games and girls, gossips and grannies. My town, where memory is a Sunday of best suits and clean shoes, of endless sermons and hard, hard pews, when the guns at the quarry are spiked and dust gets its weekly lie-in, when stuffed gulls sleepily eye the church and the chapel-goers, and men collect behind their news of the world, 1 eye in each head on its Sunday pint, when the customs office is closed, no smuggling on Sundays by order, and the only sound in the fat and full harbours comes from a Frenchman. And what can you expect from them who spits from his smelly crabber at the sodden silence? My town of salt and ice, of ropes and tar. My town that has changed, where the voice of the foreigner is heard in the Strand, where the houses are blue, and no one knows any more or cares who lives next to who. My town, my yesterday town.
Near where the Tamar flows on, sweetly and softly, softly flows on, sweetly and softly flows on. High on the down by Callington town, Cornish and Dane, 'gainst Saxon lay slain, and lay there so still, and lay there so still, while in the valley the river flowed on, the river flowed on, the river flowed on, Tamar flowed on. Here where the woodlark sings high, softly and sweetly, sweetly she sings, softly and sweetly she sings. Hear the black crow o'er the battlefield flew, ally or foe, what care could they know, that lay there so still, that lay there so still, while in the valley the river flowed on, the river flowed on, the river flowed on, Tamar flowed on. Here where the heather blows fair, sweetly and softly, softly softly blows fair. Tell me again, they died not in vain, that lent their lives, for the frontier survives, where Tamar flows on, where Tamar flows on, while in the valley the river flows on, the river flows on, the river flows on, Tamar flows on.
A is for Ansem, which we think we are.
That's well, nobody else would they? And B is for Bussa, I get Cornish jar.
C is for Cream, which we'd like a lot.
Yes, our cream is that thick, you could call the clock.
And D is for Digi, down St.Ives, don't you see?
Yes.
And E is for thee, and for me, and for she.
Well, she had no E.
Well, yes, she is, because if I was with you when I saw her coming down the street,
Yes.
I could say to her, where's off to now, I wonder?
Oh, yes.
And F is for Ferrens that did get up at the fair.
Yes, they'd go a bit sticky, but the flavour is rare.
G is for gulls as they'd fly across the bar.
And if you're underneath them, then watch out, my gar.
Here, you can't say things like that.
Can I?
H is for Evie, you know, get slab of cake.
Oh, old Doran Currans like Mauler to be.
Hey, Samson.
And I is for Edna.
Oh, Edna, that isn't very good, is it?
Oh, my
Edna.
dear soul, I can't think all this here rhyming to drive me to drink.
J is for Janner, you know, our cousin Jack.
Oh, yes, you give he some cheek and he give he one back.
Yes.
Here, K is for Clunk, you know, when you'd swallow.
Oh, yes, and L is for Lerrup, so get louts of a fella. M is for Mother, for whom we'd all care.
And N is for nothing that's going nowhere.
O is for Or. No, not that ore.
Oh.
You know, the copper and the tin that did
Oh.
dig down the mine midst the darkness and the din.
You're very
Oh,
profound.
poetic, deep.
Yes.
P is for wanting only.
What's that?
Pastas galore.
My dear, when I've had a pasty, I don't want nothing no more.
Q is the queue where we patiently stood.
As for 2 pennies of butter and a bit of hog's pud.
R is for Ray. Now there's a sweet bit of fish.
Yes. Boiled taters and butter to make it a rich dish,
And
doesn't it?
S is for saffron and Sunday school treat.
Yes. Remember the banner we carved in the street?
Well, maybe you do, but I don't.
Oh.
T is for torag. You know, salty and rye.
When I've had some of that, I could drink the sea dry.
And U is for us.
Well, we to say we.
Well, it's better than your, isn't it?
Well, I suppose so.
And V is for varmint.
That's these are for a toe disease.
And W is for withy, for making pots for the crabs.
And sticking up chimneys when cleaning the slabs.
That's right. And X marks the spot of a hauled Cornish cross, now covered with lichen and soft silky moss.
And Y is for...
You!
Yes, you'd hear that in the street. Now that's a true Cornish greeting wherever you to be.
Only one thing I can think of for Z, dear.
What's that?
Zenner.
Oh, my dear life, let's go home and have dinner.
Hey, come on, let's go.
I sing of a county of pasties and cream, of pilchard and herring that sparkle and gleam.
In the dear old county of Cornwall, the land of pasties and cream.
The land of the miners and fishermen bold, the land of the smugglers in stories of old, where men go a-courting and the maids are not cold.
In the dear old county of Cornwall, 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 the dear old county of Cornwall, pasties and cream, tin in the stream, pilchards and herring that sparkle and gleam. Though we may roam, Cornwall's our home, the dear old county of Cornwall.
Oh, know you the county of pasties and cream, with hay in the meadow and tin in the stream?
In the dear old county of Cornwall, the land of pasties and cream.
The boats trail their nets through the star-spangled sea. The miners go down where the nuggies may be, and black eyes are laughing on you and on me.
In the dear old county of Cornwall, 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 the dear old county of Cornwall. Pasties and cream, tin in the stream, pilchards and herring that sparkle and gleam. Though we may roam, Cornwall's our home, the dear old county of Cornwall.
If we watch the grey shore sink down in the sea, no traitors to home or our sweethearts are we.
For the dear old county of Cornwall, the land of pasties and cream.
Wherever we travel, our homes will be dear. For loved ones we'll toil, and for Cornwall we'll cheer. And we'll send home a smile, though we keep back a tear.
For the dear old county of Cornwall, 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 the dear old county of Cornwall. Pasties and cream, tin in the stream, pilchards and herring that sparkle and gleam. Though we may roam, Cornwall's our home, the dear old county of Cornwall.
Near Delvia Canna Ragan Bleachers.
Canon Hugan of Rama.
Live Hana Raga Gorin Cliff.
You the well, and a naggin with craze.
Come on, you the Hanan.
Hush you by my little crumb, the sheep are far from home, the cows are to the far, far field, and won't be back till noon.
Oklahi.
Oh, and you brave?
Gwell you in Kernewick. Cleo.
Lu Harley Bruyan and Veers, and Evers Pelraze, and you have using praise near those Trakens and her days.
Peer to that, Brennan. Peer to that.
Who was it put the engine on the line? Who was it painted portraits by the line? Who was it made the boat to lasso? Who was it made the safety lamp? Who was it filled the world with thunder? Davy, foot, Trevithick and bone, 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 bone.
Smoke from the lofty chimneys fills the sky. Pups in the mine are pumping night and day. Smelted tin and copper gleaming. Clang of hammer rings on steel. Who was it dared the earth to plunder? Old
Pulpy, Davy, foot, Trevidic and bone. Bone, bone, bone. Who was dressed the 99 club? Who was sell the mystery around the world? Who was spread the gospel story? Who was sent the sailor's lives? Who was spread the world asunder? Pulpy, Davy, foot, Trevidic and bone. Bone, bone, bone.
Bravely stands the lighthouse in the gale, bold the archers stride across the vale, white the sandy mountains pointing, boom of blasting quarry's side. Who was it made our country grander? Pulpy, Davy, foot, Trevidic and bone.
Bone, bone, bone.
Call their names across the western air, marvel on their deeds and works so rare. Proudly now we sing their praises, while we profit from their flair. Speak their names and stand in wonder. Pulpy, Davy, foot, Trevidic and bone.
Bone, bone, bone.
And these are only some. Bone, bone, Trevidic and bone. Bone, bone, Trevidic and bone. Bone, bone, Trevidic and bone. And bone.
And bone.
Bone! Oh, would there were the sea from Rame to Marsland, and Tamar were as wide could be, and Cornwall were some island in the ocean, a refuge in this ever-changing sea. If I had got the strength to lead an army, or the wit to argue well and win the day, I would place a silver net about my country, and let her children take their own again. Oh, could you see the future of our country as plainly as the glass reveals it me? And could you see the crowdy crown lay empty? Well, might you weep for things that used to be, for the voices by the harbor of an evening, and the cry that calls the cattle from the hill. They seem to have an unfamiliar ringing that strikes into my heart an icy chill. These lanes are feet have cut across the ages, these quilted fields we've stitched since came the farm, these houses and these harbors and these churches, these stones on stones, the country's face that charm. No longer are there Cornish feet to tread them, nor Cornish hands to tend and trim and clean. They've sold the motherland that bore and bred them, and wandered far away from Cornwall's green. Oh, would there were the sea from Rame to Marsland, and Tamar were as wide could be, and Cornwall were some island in the ocean, a refuge in this ever-changing sea. If I had got the strength to lead an army, or the wit to argue well and win the day, I would place a silver net about my country, and let her children take their own again. Come on in, you know you're welcome here. Come on in, it's been a long, long year. Now I know I waited around, wouldn't run around town, let them put me down. I knew if I waited I'd win, so come on in, come on in. Heard your footsteps on the stair. Come on in, I'd have known it anywhere. Over there in the corner is your old chair, waiting, waiting in the corner, just anticipating. A long, long time it's been, so come on in. Over and over I told myself, I said, girl, you better lose them blues. Get her ready for the day when you walked in the door. So I dusted off your pipe and polished up your shoes. Come on in, you sure look good to me.